Introduction of yourself, then the floor is yours.
Okay. So I just tried to present my screen now. I don't know if that works. Who is able to see my screen? So it says there was a problem displaying. Okay. It's fine.
Are you still having issues sharing your screen?
No, no.
Okay.
I want to share my entire screen.
Okay.
Okay, so let me know if you can see my screen. I would like us to use the reaction tool. Thank you, Professor. Just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. And I believe you can also hear me as well. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we've had the brief introduction about the SharePoint online deep dive. It's a great initiative by the M365 community, and it's something that is not just knowledge per se. It's a deep dive. So we are going to go into the depth of SharePoint, okay? And it's going to help you at the end of the program to not be just a professional, but an expert, to be able to give consultancy and also to be able to handle SharePoint. But also at the end of the session too, there will be like a troubleshooting session like this where we everybody come and share their experience on SharePoint. So we have um, experienced tutors that have been arranged for this program. So I am one of them, and I'm starting the introduction just to lay the foundation for others to build upon. And my goal is to give you the basic and as well as to demystify SharePoint so that whatever it is that is being discussed thereafter is relatable. You can connect with this class and all of that. Okay. And my name is Yomi Aledare. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. I have been providing Microsoft 365 services and training as well. I don't know if you are familiar with the Knowledge Academy. It's a training organization. I One of these training helped them with their SharePoint training, which was more like I think 4 days. Okay, so um, others. Okay, so you have my Twitter, my LinkedIn there as well. I read, I write, and I also do swimming to ease off the stress. And I'm a Microsoft certified expert in the M365 space. That's my core strength. Okay, if you carry me to Azure, I'll just be looking at you like what this person is saying. Okay, but if you bring me to M365 space, I can flow with you on that. And I want to tell you that SharePoint is a very strong part of Microsoft 365 space. And lucky for me, when we did our training, I think 7 years ago now, I kind of love SharePoint, and that was how I built interest in that and became good with that. So this course will focus on the site admin story from start to finish, and it's designed to be engaging and also practical. So you get to see these things and what they do. We're also going to discuss some best practices about SharePoint, what it is, and how we can interact with SharePoint and administer SharePoint itself. So at the end of this course, if you're a novice, you should um, carry your shoulder as an expert. That's what we tend to achieve. And today is our first series, and as we had one of our moderator that this is going to be a long journey. We will have about, I think, 9 sessions arranged for us, loaded with the SharePoint itself. So today we'll majorly discuss SharePoint Admin Center. So everything I'm going to be doing, or my lab will majorly be on the SharePoint Admin Center. Okay. Now, quickly, let's get started. So the schedule has been divided. So we have 45 minutes to have a brief discussion about SharePoint. I think I need to check my time now. Okay, and then we'll have another 45 minutes for lab and Q&A. So we've taken out 15 minutes. So I'm going to be removing 5 minutes from the SharePoint online, 5 minutes from the lab, and 10 minutes and 5 minutes, sorry, from the Q&A. So that should take care of the 15 minutes that we've exhausted already. So basically we have 40 minutes to go. So I'm going to just set my where is that guy now? Set my timer for that right away. And what you will learn, okay, the core features, how you can navigate the list, sites and libraries, and also how to administer the SharePoint environment effectively. So just give me 30 seconds. Let me just, where is that again? Timer. 40, I don't think I have 40 minutes again. I'll just set that to, you set that to 35. Yeah, 35 minutes. Okay, so let's start. So the approach I've prepared is to look at this in a question and answer approach. Okay, so sometimes if I'm asking a question, it's not for you. We're going to have a Q&A section. Okay, so what is SharePoint to start with? What is SharePoint? So SharePoint is a web application. That means it's not a website, it's a web application. Some of us are familiar with website and web application. A web application is any application that consumes data from the backend, maybe from database. Okay, so when we say SharePoint is a web application, that means SharePoint also consumes data from database. And of course, that database you can guess is SQL, Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, so a SharePoint feature or the SharePoint tool is designed by Microsoft. Okay, and designed for content management similar to what you have in WordPress. Okay, I'm not myself familiar with WordPress, but in comparison to WordPress, SharePoint is robust and has what is called granularity in permission. So you can't just access anything, only what you have been given access to. SharePoint can be as large as Nigeria, and you're only allowed to access a local government in Nigeria, and that is all you can see. Like clear cache and delete browser history, that's what you are still going to see. Okay, because of the granularity in the permission. Then lastly is that it's not available to the public. Okay, it's not available to the public. That means it's not everybody that can access it. Okay, it's usually within an organization. Okay, usually within an organization. So organizations use Microsoft SharePoint to create intranets or internal websites. You can use it as a secure place to store, organize, share, and access information from any device. Okay, any device. All you need is a web browser, which could be Edge. What is Internet Explorer doing there? Edge, Chrome, and Firefox. Internet Explorer, I think, shouldn't be here. Okay, sorry about that. It's no longer a valid browser in today's terms, except probably those who are on Windows 7 or Windows 8. Another thing I also noticed with that is that even if you open SharePoint on Internet Explorer, it's going to tell you that you're just going to get a notification that's saying that this browser is not compatible. Get the latest, you get something like that, and it will recommend you to get Edge. So having said what SharePoint is, what can SharePoint do? What can it do? With SharePoint or Microsoft SharePoint, you can create and manage sites. So a site is similar to a website. Okay, so just note that. Then you have site pages, okay, or web page. Then we have what is called document libraries and lists. Okay, document library simply refers to the feature where your documents and files and folders are just like you have your file explorer on your PC. Okay, where you have your documents and all your files. You have that also online in the cloud. And then you have the list. List is a great tool basically for storing things. Okay, more like a table. Okay, some of us might be familiar with Microsoft Access. It's a table where you can, create to store things. Then also with SharePoint, you can share files, data, news, and resources within the organization. Of course, you can also collaborate on projects. Okay, set up a team to work with projects. This can be within or outside the organization. Other areas could be creating workflows, forms, lists, and the like. With SharePoint, you can automate workflows. Okay, we can integrate SharePoint. We're going to see that as we go ahead, how SharePoint integrates with other Microsoft applications. Key features and capabilities. SharePoint has the intranet sites. The internet site, often referred to as site collection, built for your organization. So every SharePoint setup has what is called a site collection. A site collection is simply, let me not use collection, it's simply putting together different parts of the site. These parts could be a page, like a site page. It could be a document library, a list, and the like. Okay, and so you have what is called web parts. Okay, web part. Web part simply refers to an item on a web page, or let me not use web page. Let me use the proper term. An item on a SharePoint site page. So you have a site page, and then you put in a maybe a what's it called now? A carousel. That's that thing that slides on a web browser, showing maybe the birthday celebrant of the day for that organization, or you are trying to add maybe a calendar, okay, or maybe you have your organization is maybe across West Africa, so you have branches across Africa or across the globe. You have branches in New York and all that. So you want to have customized clock for these different regions. So web parts, okay, can help you to achieve that. So you can know that these people, they're already closing. This 5 p.m. I don't need to start calling them and say, I need this report now. Okay. So web parts can allow you to add some of those things on such site. Okay. Then you have other areas like securely sharing files and managing your documents. Now, before now, we had the SharePoint on-premise. SharePoint on-premise is simply a SharePoint server, okay, that you host yourself, okay. You set up a Windows server, you set up DNS, you install the SharePoint server, which will require you to install IIS, SQL Server, and I think that's it. And then once you install, then you create, you turn on the IIS server, and then you create like what is it called now? A DNS, okay, so that people can access it. So there is SharePoint server, okay, which you refer to SharePoint on-premise. So want to see, are there differences between SharePoint online and SharePoint on-premise? Of course, yes. SharePoint online is hosted by Microsoft. Okay, so it's a Microsoft managed SharePoint service. While SharePoint on-premise is installed on your own server, you own everything about it. If you don't have adequate power supply and it goes off, it means that you can no longer have access to it. Then maintenance. SharePoint Online is automatically maintained, managed, making sure it's online and always available by Microsoft. While on-premise, you require your internal IT team to do the maintenance for you. The customization. SharePoint on-premise offers more customization options because you own it. So you have the option to change anything, turn it upside down, do it whichever way you want. Okay, you own it. But SharePoint Online has limitations. Okay, they want to make sure that the web app does not lose performance. So there are some limitations that they won't allow you to do, which SharePoint has. Then in terms of storage, your on-premise has limited data storage, while your SharePoint Online is dependent on basically your subscription. You have a 1 terabyte allocated to you and 10 GB per user that you have, and this is limited to 25 terabytes per site or site collection. Control. On-premise, you have full control. Okay, everything is over to you. Cost. On-premise can be expensive to install. Okay, it requires purchase of hardware, local servers, and all of that. Okay, it's expensive and it requires expertise. You can't just call anybody to come and install. It's not just you can't go to computer and say, help me and install SharePoint server. Okay, that will be very, very funny. Okay, but for the cloud, you don't need to bother yourself with that. Okay, if you know that you can't continue after 3 months, you can't see your subscription. But the server, you have already set it up and all of that. So basically, that's the difference between SharePoint and SharePoint Online and SharePoint on-premise. So if you have questions, just note it down. We'll get to the Q&A. Now, we have been talking about SharePoint. That's what is called OneDrive. Some of them might have heard the word OneDrive. So is SharePoint the same as OneDrive? The straightforward answer to that is no. Okay, SharePoint and OneDrive are two different offerings by Microsoft. And our focus today is OneDrive for Business. Okay, that's what is called OneDrive for Business. Of course, OneDrive Personal. Our focus is OneDrive for Business. Okay, so OneDrive for Business is Also a cloud storage, basically for files, okay, for files related activity for personal users, okay, for personal users, okay. Note that while SharePoint is designed for shared storage, also for files, and then also for collaboration across different groups, okay. So with that, how is SharePoint similar to, or how is OneDrive similar to SharePoint? You can store files on both of them. However, the ownership and lifetime varies. Okay. For OneDrive, if you delete the user, that file will also go with the user. Okay, though we're going to see how to modify that. Okay, but if the user is deleted, the file goes with that user. So for instance, you're working on a project, somebody created the file on their OneDrive instead of on the SharePoint. And suddenly the person was terminated after 2 weeks, after failing to meet the deadline. What happens? The file could be lost after 30 days, and all the work have been done will no longer be available. Okay, so that is one drawback with OneDrive, is personal files. Personal files. While SharePoint, okay, does not, that has nothing to do with whether the user was retrenched or not. As long as you have a subscription and the SharePoint site is not deleted, you still have access. And SharePoint sites, even when they are deleted, they are retained for 93 days. So if you change your mind, you can always restore the SharePoint site. But it's important we know that SharePoint houses your OneDrive service, meaning that you can't have OneDrive without SharePoint. Okay, but you can have SharePoint without OneDrive, but you can't have OneDrive without SharePoint. It's not possible. Okay, SharePoint is like your root site. Okay, SharePoint becomes your root site where all other site collections and OneDrive reside. So we have a question here: should I save to OneDrive or SharePoint? Of course, there is no straightforward answer to that. Rather than to ask, is the file personal or a shared file? Are we going to be collaborating with on this file, or it's for me alone? Okay, so that is what depends or determines the answer to that question. Okay, then when should I use SharePoint or OneDrive? So that also depends on the scenario. Okay, based on what I've explained, you look at what the options are for you. Now, what are the subscription and licensing options? Okay, I said a little things about the license earlier, but for you to use SharePoint, Microsoft is not a charity organization. They are cut out for business. So that means everything that they offer is dependent on subscription, okay, or licensing. Okay, so that means you pay for the service. You pay for the service. So on this table, we have some list of subscriptions that Microsoft has made available and includes the various plans. Now, to my left here, I think I will start using my marker now. Guys, which color should I go for? Somebody should suggest. Hello. Hello.
Okay, yeah, someone is suggesting you use color red. We have color red first.
Okay.
I think the red have it, yeah.
So I'll go with red. Okay, so we have, did I click? Let's go back. So we have, on the left here, we have SharePoint and OneDrive Plan 1. Okay. this plan is available for business basic subscription, or rather it's included with the business basic subscription, business standard subscription, business premium, the Office 365 E1, Microsoft 365 A1 plans. So if you have a tenant and you have any of these subscriptions, automatically you should know that you have both. Okay, you have OneDrive Plan 1 for your users, SharePoint Plan 1 for your organization. Okay, but if you have E3, E5, Office 365, E3, E5, any of the E3 offerings, E5 offerings, the A3, A5, you automatically have the OneDrive Plan 2 and the SharePoint Plan 2. Okay, so you have the OneDrive Plan 2 and the SharePoint. Let me look at my time. I hope I'm not too fast. Okay, I think I'm still within the time. Okay, so it means that the subscription you have determines what plan you have. Okay, now why do I have plan 1, plan 2? They provide different offerings. For plan 1, the maximum storage you can have is 1 terabyte. Okay, 1 terabyte. So if you have any of this subscription, this will be your maximum storage. For plan 2, you are given 1 terabyte as well, but this can be increased. Okay, this can be increased to 25 terabytes. Okay, this can be increased to 25 terabytes, not anyhow. Okay, with conditions. Okay, it's not automatic. So if you have 1 terabyte and you have used 90% of that, okay, so you have used up 90%. What is 90% of 1 terabyte? So you have used like maybe let's say 901 gig of 1 terabyte. This can be increased from 1 terabyte to 5 terabytes. Okay, this can be increased from 1 terabyte to 5 terabytes. Now, how do you now go from 5 to 25? You also have to use 90% of 5 terabytes. So that would be like maybe 4 let's say 4.9. Let me just use that 4.9 G, sorry, not GB, 4.9 TB. So if you have used 4.9 terabytes, you qualify to be increased to 25 terabytes. Okay, which is the max that a site collection can take. Anything outside that will result in creating a new site. Okay, so that's what plan 2 offers. Okay, nothing else is special than the storage. Okay, it gives you more storage. Okay, and I think that answers the question with what's the difference between OneDrive and SharePoint plans, and also plan 1 and plan 2. Okay, now the SharePoint structure. The SharePoint structure defines how the SharePoint site is structured. So if you go to a site, there's a possibility for the site to have or not have a sub-site. Okay, then there's a possibility for the site to have a document library, a list, and the site pages. Okay, the site page is simply a page. The list is just maybe a list that is called tracker that you are using to keep record of those that have offended you in the organization. You write John, date of offense, 27th of January. Offense type, did not greet. Andrew, did not share his lunch. Okay, so you can store all of those things, offense tracker, in what? In a SharePoint list. And then you have a document library to keep all your files. So the document library store your folders, your files, and also helps to manage permissions. Okay, so within a subsite is the same structure. Another subsite, another document library, another list, and all of that. And you have a limit. Okay, I think it's 2,000. I've forgotten that, but you can just check that. You have a limit to the number of sites you can subsite rather, that a particular site can have. Okay, so you can't just be creating subsites endlessly. Like I said, because of permission, there are limitations to some of these things. Okay, so all of these have limitations in terms of the number that you can create, and also permissions. Okay, the permissions for this usually cascades down without them being divided. In subsequent classes, we'll see permissions, but for now, know that the SharePoint site permission from this flows down to the child element. Okay, so if Andrew has permission to the site, he will obviously have permission to every other thing on the page. Okay, however, you can, in SharePoint, you can customize that Andrew does not have permission to this. Okay, we have that option to break the permission for Andrew, but that's not within today's class, so we don't want to find trouble. Okay, now then we have what is called a SharePoint site collection, which it's a collection of document library, calendars, pages, and the like. Okay, so the site collection is made up of one top level site and all sites below it. So when we say a site collection, just know that there's a main site and every other thing falls under it. So for instance, you have this site. Within this site, you have a site for finance, for sales, for finance, IT. SharePoint look and feel. Okay, if you happen to access SharePoint far back as 2015, you see something that is more like a classic view. But today, SharePoint has gone modern. Okay, SharePoint has gone modern. So we'll see that in the next page. So for instance, this is the classic SharePoint. This is how it looks. Okay, this is a classic SharePoint. And this is a modern SharePoint. So you can see both are project site, like, okay, they are both project site, but this is modern view. Okay, and this is classic, often referred to as classic experience. Okay, more like you want to go back to an old view. Okay, it has its own advantages. Okay, some of them is that if something is not working in modern, it's usually going to work in classic. Okay, hardly will it not work in classic. Okay, but we use that to check if there's anything wrong. Okay, for instance, you want to upload the file is not uploading, and you try in classic experience, you're able to upload the file. That means it's not like you can't upload, maybe the file or library is full or is blocked. No, that means that is not the case. Okay, so you have that as well. Then you have the SharePoint web pages or web parts. So you can see this gives us a picture of the various web parts that you can. Web part are simply item on a web page. Okay, so these are all web parts. So for instance, you want to add a button, a call to action, you want to add a divider, like to divide a page, you want to add a hero view, an image. Okay, you have option to add it, maybe the Twitter handle of your organization. You can embed it on your company intranet. Okay, so you have that provided in web parts. Okay, so first step, of course, is to create a site page, and then you can now create all of that as well. Then you have the document library. Document library allows you to store files. Anything has to do with files, they go to the document library. So if you ask in SharePoint, where do files go to? Or where are files kept? And you have list, document library, site pages. The obvious answer is document library. Anything that has to do with your file, your folder, they are stored in your document library. Then you have the SharePoint list. Okay, SharePoint list. Okay, so you see it allows you to create rows and columns that you can store data in form of tables like you have in Excel. Okay. Then we have a concept that is known as versioning. Okay, versioning. For instance, this PowerPoint slide was used for the last training. But between the last training and now, there have been some new features, or based on the questions that were raised, we've added some few things. So if this PowerPoint is in SharePoint or OneDrive, and you include those new questions that were raised, maybe the answers to them, SharePoint is going to create a new version. Okay, so that's what versioning simply means. Okay, and it helps to make sure that you have nothing to worry about. You can just be doing your work. If anything goes wrong, you know that you can always go back. Okay, you can always go back. Okay, if you do anything wrong, you can go back. Okay, so we've seen people who their architectural design, they are saving it to SharePoint. So version 1, 200 GB, version 2, 200 GB, version 3, as they are making new editions, is creating versions. So that leads us to major versions and minor versions. Okay, the major version is usually the part that takes the first number. The minor version takes the second number. Okay, so you have the option in SharePoint. If you go to version history and you see 1.0 and you see 2.0, this is a major version, this is a major version. But if you see 1.0 and the next thing is maybe 1.1, okay, it's telling you that this is a minor version that was created. Okay, but version history is there because you made some changes to the state of the document, or the document have changed from the last time it was worked upon. So SharePoint creates a new version. Okay, so and version history is not something that is only in a file that resides in SharePoint. It also applies to files that reside in OneDrive as well. Okay, so you have version history in both SharePoint and OneDrive. Where are deleted items stored in SharePoint? Where are deleted items stored in SharePoint? So we have the option to delete files, delete lists, delete sites, delete pages, and what else? Delete document libraries. Okay, so you can delete all of these things, and they do not get deleted immediately. okay, they do not get deleted immediately, with the exception of version history. If you delete a version history, still on here, okay, it's not, you can't restore it. It doesn't go to the recycle bin. Okay, so but the recycle bin, okay, some of us that use Windows, okay, you know your recycle bin. If you're on Mac, you know your trash. Okay, so it's a feature in SharePoint. The recycle bin is a feature in SharePoint that keeps record of the things that are deleted. Okay, but if you delete a site, okay, you see the site in deleted site on the admin portal, not my time is running. Okay, so I have to use time so that I can be monitoring myself. I'll not be carried away. So what I'm saying is that when you delete items on either SharePoint or OneDrive, it goes to the recycle bin. Okay, now this items varies. Okay, this item varies. Like if you delete a file, obviously your file will be in the recycle bin. The recycle bin also has what is called stages. Okay, that's what is called the first stage. That's also what is called the second stage. Okay, so you have your site retention, which is fixed. Okay, 93 days is the fixed period. So after 30 days, your site goes to the what is
I think we lost Yomi.
Seems so.
Can you try to reach him on phone? Apologies, everyone. We're trying to get him back on the call.
Okay, I think he might be joining in, yeah,
hello?
soon. Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Oh,
you.
okay, okay.
It's my network. Yeah, so sorry about that. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. So I was saying that SharePoint recycle bin or recycle bin feature in SharePoint, it's a place that holds items that are deleted. So for instance, if you delete a file, you delete a list, you delete a page, okay, it goes to the recycle bin. Or if you delete the site collection itself, okay, that will go to the deleted site on the SharePoint admin. Now, when you delete, fine. I hope the background noise is not getting to us.
No, it's not. It's very clear.
Okay, so the SharePoint recycle bin or recycling feature has what is called the first stage, second stage. Okay, so the first stage is where files are kept within 30 days of them being deleted. And then the second stage, after the 30 days, the file will remain there for another 63 days before, at that point, they are permanently deleted and cannot be recovered. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so the next is the SharePoint OneDrive storage space. So how is my SharePoint storage space calculated? So if for instance, you have a Microsoft 365 tenant and you are seeing 2 terabytes, what does it mean? Okay, so how is my SharePoint storage space calculated? So it's with what is called this. So you have 1 plus 2 plus 3 and then plus this. So these are the options that you have. So if you purchase or you set up a tenant or an account with Microsoft and you get maybe business basic, automatically you are giving 1 terabyte. Now, how many business basic did you buy? You bought 5, but assigned to 4 users. So 4 times 10, you have 40. Okay. And then you now decide to buy maybe OneDrive plan 1. You have 5 terabytes. Okay, of course, assigned. Then extra storage, of course, you didn't buy that. So at the end, you're going to have 1.04. That's what you're going to see. Okay, on your SharePoint admin portal, telling you that this is your total storage. So the person will say they want to increase this. Okay, if they want to increase this without this option, then they have to go for the extra storage, where they can specifically get a size. Okay, they can decide to purchase another 1 terabyte, which is buying 1000 GB. Okay, so that is how your SharePoint storage is calculated. You have 1 terabyte of default storage, and then 10 GB times the number of licenses that have SharePoint for OneDrive that is assigned to users. Okay, so if you have 100 users and then you assign 90 licenses, so 90 times 10 gives you 900 GB. Okay, so you end up having 1.9 terabytes. Okay, now question 2, what contributes to the storage space for the entire SharePoint tenants? What contributes to the storage? So if I have a tenant and I say my storage is full and I only have a few files, what contributes to the storage? So number 1, your site pages, okay, the document libraries. Now you have 1 or 2, all the document inside it, your list, version history. So if you like have 2000 version history, your recycle bin, all the things you are deleting, thinking that you are freeing up storage. And then we have the preservation hold. So we have this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, note these ones I'm highlighting very well. Okay, so we have 6, but out of these 6, these ones are mostly negligible. Okay, in your site, you can see the site page, you can see document library, you can see your list. But most times you may not see this version history, recycle bin, and preservation hold. They are kind of hidden. Okay, they are kind of hidden, and you will not see it. And they are contributing to your storage space. So if you have a tenant and you are deleting file from here, trying to free up space, the files are still going to be kept. Remember, recycle bin keeps the file for 93 days. So the file will be kept. You have a preservation hold. A preservation hold is something that has been set up that any file that is deleted should be kept, should be preserved. So even after 93 days, the file are kept somewhere in a library called preservation hold. Then you have version history. I mentioned earlier, imagine somebody that has 1 terabyte of OneDrive and decide to save a movie that is 700 GB. Okay, it's even too much. Or let's say 100 GB. Okay, and decides to edit the movie and resave it again. So you have on that version under 100 GB. Or maybe the next one is now 150 GB. So all of these things, you already have 200 GB in your version history. And then the actual file in your document library is showing 150 GB. And you are saying that, why is this showing me 50% or almost full? Well, I only have 150 GB. Okay, this guy is contributing. You now decide to go there and say, let me delete it. So it comes here. Okay. And let's say there is a hold. So on that 150 comes here. So at the end, 150 plus 150, 300 plus 200, you have 500. You now be wondering what's happening. Okay, this is what's happening. You have them in version history, recycle bin, and the preservation hold. Okay. Then is OneDrive storage different from SharePoint? Yes. Okay, so OneDrive storage is independent of SharePoint storage. So this person has exhausted his OneDrive. It doesn't mean that your SharePoint storage is affected. Your SharePoint storage is not affected by what happens in the OneDrive storage. What is the maximum storage assigned to OneDrive? This is based on license. It could be 100 GB, 1 terabyte, and some license can extend to 5 and all of that. I think I've explained that already. SharePoint integrates with other apps. Okay, like we have Microsoft 365 groups. Microsoft 365 groups has a SharePoint, okay, that stores files. So any file you're uploading in a SharePoint, a Microsoft 365 group, the file is going to the SharePoint site that was created for that group. So when you delete that group, the SharePoint site is also deleted, okay, because they are father and mother, they are a family. Teams, okay, Teams also store attachments. So one-on-one chat. I'm chatting with Professor, and I upload a chat in Teams. That file will reside in OneDrive. So it's not like the file is in Teams. You know, reside in OneDrive. You have also your recording, like this recording that we are having now, is going to be stored in either SharePoint if it's a group, but in this case, it's not a group, so it's going to be stored in the person who started the recordings. What's it called? OneDrive. Okay, so it goes there. Then you have Exchange. So sometimes when you upload a file, Exchange tells you that this file is too large. Do you want to attach it to the cloud? So if you do that, it's going to store the file in your OneDrive. Okay, so you have that option. Then you have flows and all of that. You have forms. Okay, forms that are uploaded and filling out form, SharePoint, Canvas apps, in Power Apps. If you create apps, they integrate with SharePoint list. Okay, to manage your files as well. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into our lab demo. So we're going to look at some OneDrive restrictions preventing OneDrive syncing to PC, block file, specific file upload, and external sharing, then site creation and all of that. So we'll see how we can do that within the next 30 minutes. Let me look at my time. Okay, so I think I was able to manage that time. So I'm setting the time again for the lab. So I think we can leave the PowerPoint. So if you have any question, please just type it now and we can trash it while I quickly set up the environment. So if there's any question, just you can read them out to me.
Okay.
So we can.
Yeah, we do have 2 questions just before you start the demo part. So the first question is asking that, is it a straight process to increase the SharePoint site from 5 terabyte to 25 terabyte? That's the SPO site storage. Is it a straight process?
Yes, it is, but you need to contact Microsoft support for assistance with that.
Okay.
Okay, so the reason is because they need to check to confirm if you are even eligible. Okay, so you may be trying to do it on your end and it's working or it's not working, or it worked for tenant A and didn't work for tenant B. But how do you even know whether you're even eligible for the increase? So if you contact support, they will to check and your tenant to see, okay, you are eligible, and they'll just guide you. Something that can be done almost 5 minutes and you are good. Okay, it doesn't need any special lesson. Right from the admin portal, you can run the diagnostics on your accounts, and it will allow you to update that user's OneDrive from 5 terabytes to 25 terabytes. Okay.
Okay.
So
So the second
the eligibility that is checking the number of licenses that you have. So let's say you have E3, but it needs to be at least 5 and assigned to assigned to 5 users minimum. So if you assign it to 4, it's not going to work. Okay, so that's one of the requirements.
So 5 users must have the E3 license assigned, right?
Assigned, yes.
So the second question is asking that, can something be done if an enterprise organization exhausts the 25 TB that has been assigned?
Yes. What is going to be done is that they're going to create a site collection. So it's not going to be OneDrive. It's not going to be OneDrive. So they just create on that side. It's not something that you do your end. You also need to contact Microsoft support team, and they will have to escalate to the whoever is their top level to assist with that. So, but they're going to need to create like site collection, basically another one. The size cannot be more than 25 TB. That's just it. Okay.
Okay.
So I don't know if you are familiar with admin, but if you log into office.com with an admin account, it brings you here to office.com. Then you see an admin tile, and then just click on it. Okay, the office login page have changed. I think last 2 months or thereabout. So this is the admin portal. Okay, this is the admin portal where you manage your sharing, your organization settings. Our focus is SharePoint. So let's click on Show All here. Then scroll down and click on SharePoint. Okay, so this is the SharePoint admin portal. Okay, so we're going to look at some of these options that we have here. Basically, the sites, policies, settings, and then we'll briefly look at these more features. Okay, but focus will majorly be on the settings policies page. So if I go to sites, I have this where I see all the sites. So if I click on active sites, this is where I see all the sites that exist on this channel. And you can see my storage. It says I have 1.23 TB available of 1.24 TB. So that means I've used 1 TB already. Is it 1 TB? Sorry, I've used 100 GB. Yeah, already from my storage. Okay, so you can see the storage that it shows here for me. So I have 1 TB. That means I have that means I've assigned 24. Okay, remember 10 times so I have 24 users already assigned. If I go to this place, if I go to my users, active users, and click on license, yes, click on that. I should have a count. It doesn't give me my count. Okay, let me check all of them. Where's the count? This guy, they have changed this their UI. Okay, 24 selected. Okay, so you can see 24 selected. So that 24 times 10 is 240. So 240 plus 1 terabyte, that's what you have, 1.24. Okay. Okay, so now on the SharePoint admin, you have your active sites. Here I get to see all my sites. Okay, there's no hidden site. Any site you have created, you see it here. Okay, all of them. Okay, you see all of the sites here. So that's what is called the usually one what is that? The default sites. Okay, usually from the URL. Okay, URL is always having your tenant domain. Okay, like what you are seeing here, https isobdev.sharepoint.com. That is automatically the default site. Okay, every other one will have /site. You can see everything is /site. Okay, but this has the full. So this is like your root SharePoint site. Okay, that's your root SharePoint site. Okay, so every other thing that we have here, all the sites were created after this. This was automatically created. Okay, so and then to create a site, you just click on this option here, create. Okay, click on create, and then it brings you this option. So you have option to create a team site. A team site connects you to Microsoft 365 group. Okay, where I mean the team site will have Teams group, Outlook, and what is and a SharePoint site which we are creating now. So that's a team site. Okay. Now, if you want to create a team site, but you don't want to have a Teams group and Outlook, all those things, you need to go to this browse more sites. Okay, you click on it and then choose team sites from here. Okay, choose team sites from here. Of course, you have other template like document center, enterprise booking, content center, all of that. Okay, but be careful with these templates. They affect the behavior of the site. Okay, they affect the behavior of the site. The site will work differently compared to a site that has all the you can see it says this option does not create a Microsoft 365 group. So if somebody has a site created like this and is saying, I'm not seeing the site in my teams, there's nothing you can do. The person has just come here to create the site. Okay. Then you have the communication side. These are basically templates. But of course, the template affects the end user experience, what the user is able to do or not able to do. So for instance, if somebody says this site is working like this one is not working like this, you want to know what type of site does this site have? What type of template does this site have? Most times you can't see the template from here, okay, but you can see a few things. That you can see this, it has a Teams icon, So the one that doesn't have a team icon, they are just sites I just created, okay, without created from this browse site option. But for the purpose of this, you just create a site here, then choose a template. Let's choose this employee onboarding onboarding. Sorry, onboarding template. Click on use this template. Then let's call it deep dive. Okay. Description. Deep dive. Okay, and then the group email will be so it's creating a group email for because we created a team site and then the URL. If I want to change that, I can change that from here. Okay, and then it says that it's available. Okay, then I need to provide a group owner. Okay, so I'll just put in myself as a group owner. I'll click on next. Okay, then it says the privacy settings, public or private. If it's public, anyone in the organization can access the site. Okay, they can access it. If it's private, only members will be able to access the site. So you want to make sure you take note of this when you're creating the site. Then my language, then this is the default time zone. I will show us that when we are looking at the settings page. This is the default time zone that has been selected. Okay, so whenever you create a site, it will automatically choose this time zone. So you may also want to look at that before you click on create site. You want to make sure that you want to choose the correct time zone that you want that that site to be in. So let's choose where is this? Okay, let's just use West Africa. So let's click on create sites. So while the site is creating, I may want to add member. This is my user. I have Lee. Okay, so let's add this user as members to the site. Okay, so just members. Okay, so basically that's how we create. Okay, so while that is creating, let me sign into. Okay, click on finish. Two site owners. When did I make that configuration? My goodness. Okay, so I don't know where I don't go scatter somewhere. Okay, so let me log into the other accounts. At okay. Okay, so while that is going on, let's check, let's look for our site. So I may have to refresh this page. Okay, so I have my site that has been created for me. So refresh that. I should see it somewhere. What's the name? Deep dive. Okay, so this is the site, deep dive. Okay. When did I don't go scatter things. And I want to delete this site. This site has a compliance policy set to block deletion. And I plan on deleting this site. So I can't even delete any site to show us the site recycle being interesting. Okay, so this is site. So you can view it. So note the URL, okay? So you can see my root SharePoint domain. It has /sites, then in site name, site pages, employee onboarding team.asps. Okay, so I can say I don't want this page. I want to create my own page. So I go to new, and you see page. So I'll click on it, and this guy. Let me just leave it for now. So let's call this training create page. Okay. Now I have my page. I'll just publish. I don't want to make any change. So just publish that. And like seriously, I'm going on slow. I never do anything. No. Jesus Christ. So let's just save and close. Have I published it? Sorry. Training. Okay, so I have my site. So I can, okay, I want to create more page or create a copy. But what I am now, where I am now, I'm currently on the training page. So you can see training.asps. Okay, so to go back to the home, I click on this, take me back to the home site. Okay, and then you can see I have my recycle bin, I have my document, library, I have my site page. Of course, this is also another site page. So how do I see all these things? So if I click on the settings here, I have what's happening? I what's called site contents. It's going to show all the content that I have. Okay, so you can see I have a list called employee onboarding. This is a list. Oh no, this is not a list. Let's go to site pages. We have a lot of pages there. Let's see what they are. Okay, so you have your SPS, my training. So I can start to set this training as my home page instead of the other page that opens. Okay, so if I click on home, I'll just copy this and then let's check it with the other come on, where is this? I think this is it. So let's check it here. Okay, so you can see I'm clicking on home. It's taking me to the training site. That's because training web page. Okay, that's because that page has been set as the default or as the home page for this site. Okay, so what that's does what I just want to show us about site creation. Then you have the option to this guy is slow. Let's go back here. So they have the option to also add pages from here. Okay, so you have option as well. And then to create your list, let's go back to our site content. I just click on back. Congratulations. So if I click on new, you have options for list. Okay, so I can create a new list here as well. And then you can choose what's happening, so let me just create a blank one, or let me just pick from here something simple. Uh, okay, so this is how you create your list. Then you also have the option to create a document library. Okay, this is a document library. You can create another one. Click on document library and let's just choose a blank one. Let's call this July deep dive. Okay, and let's create that as well. Okay, so you have all of the options here. Okay, so we just demonstrate how to create a site page, a list, and document library. Okay, so we want to move on. So, but if I go back to my site content, I have the option to begin to delete some of these things that I've created. Okay, can delete my library. Okay, send it to the recycle bin, and delete my list, send it to the recycle bin. I can go to my site pages and okay, I know I work with a customer who deleted his own page, so I need to go back and set this back as my own page, and then I can now delete my training page. Okay, so you want to be careful because I think I gave him a URL that would take us direct to the recycle bin, and that was how we were able to restore the site, the homepage that was deleted, and the site started working again. But if you delete your own page, obviously your site will crash. Okay, because when you click on the site, it's supposed to take you straight to the home page. So you can see I have my recycle bin. You can see the second stage here. Okay, so if I delete from here again, okay, it goes to the second stage. Okay, so you can see. And if I restore my site, I can go back to my recycle bin and I have my other ones here. And at this point, if I leave them here, it will remain here for 30 days and then it will move to this second stage. Okay, so that is that on site. Okay, so quickly then deleted site. I didn't delete that site. I couldn't delete it because it's protected. I've gone to configure something there that doesn't allow me to delete any of my sites, and you can't remove it on this call. Okay, so that's why I don't have anything here. So let's go to policies. Okay, policies, then sharing. Okay, policies, then sharing. So so if you look at this site, this page that I'm in, okay, you see that we have SharePoint and then we have OneDrive. You have most permissive, least permissive. Most permissive, least permissive. So what does it mean? It means this that we have here. These are the 4 levels. Okay, these are the 4 levels. So the least permissive is that you don't want, no external sharing is allowed. So that means the user cannot share to external users. So for instance, if I take this down, the SharePoint, of course, like I said, OneDrive is dependent on SharePoint. So there's no how SharePoint can be listed and OneDrive will go up. It's not possible. It won't drag. If you like, go and carry the best juju man. This guy is not going to move. Okay, because this guy is down. So it's as high as this can go that this will go. Okay, so you can see. Okay, I believe you know why, because this guy is one hosting this. Sorry, I'm calling this guy. OneDrive is one hosting SharePoint. Sorry, the other way. SharePoint is one hosting OneDrive. So that's why SharePoint, that's why OneDrive can be greater than it. Okay, but this affects what users can do. Okay, and what they can see. This is basically sharing. Okay, sharing. Okay, then you have the anyone. Okay, you have the anyone. Now this means that if you do not configure the settings, this will be the default for all the SharePoint sites. So if I go and create the SharePoint site now, users can have anyone. If I drag this down, all my SharePoint sites will also inherit this. If I drag this to this place, all my SharePoint sites will inherit. So if I save now, and I go to active sites, and let's go to this. Let's go to this deep dive we just created, and let's go to settings. Okay, external file sharing. Let's see the option we have. Only people in your organization. Why is this one grayed out? Why? What is wrong with this? This tool is not working. No, that's not what the issue is. The issue is that the sharing has been controlled here to only this. So it's going to affect this. So also your site cannot go above what has been configured in the sharing. If it's set to anyone, okay, then you can configure specific sites. So I hope that is saved. You can configure it to okay. You can configure it to maybe only this, okay, in that scenario. Okay, so you have the option to do that. Okay, so it can't go beyond. So I just want to show us that on sharing. Then for OneDrive, what's the behavior for OneDrive? Okay, so if I go to this other user now, let's go to their OneDrive. Okay. I did something. So I say your organization's policy prevents you from seeing OneDrive content. Okay, so I will show us that I did something. Okay, so which user do I have now? Okay, I can use the same user. Let's use this guy. Have I saved this? Let's do this. Let's track it down. I think it's saved though. It's not giving me option. Okay, yes, that's what it was before. So this time is running. Let's go to OneDrive. So let's look for a file. Okay, so let's try to share this file. Let's click on share. Okay, so click on these settings. So I only have people in Airsoft Dev. I do not see the option for anyone. Why is this so? Because of the sharing setting that is here. Okay. Okay, so let's note that. So that's something about external sharing. Then what if this is fine? What else can prevent me from sharing? There's something again that you have on the admin portal. On the admin portal, you have, if I go to settings, org settings, there's also some additional settings that you have that affect sharing. Sharing is a very funny thing, okay, that you have to be careful when you are troubleshooting it. You need to know what the issue is. So if I go to where is that? If you see it, let me know. I'm looking for sharing. Yeah, okay. So this is one. So I click on this. It says that let's group owners add people outside organization to Microsoft 365 group as guests. Let guest group access. So if you uncheck this, it's going to mean that owners cannot share with guests. Okay, it will block that. To block that option. Then there's also I mean they don't remove. I know they see I'm again. Am I looking too fast? Okay, yes. SharePoint. So if you click on SharePoint, you also have, okay, you can see this guy inherited this from what is here. You know, I've not saved this yet. Okay, so that's where it inherited it from. So you can see it says anyone, users can share files and folders using link that they do not require signing. Okay, that's what it said. But on this place, it's said to anyone. So they all have their role. Okay, they all have the role that they play. Then another thing also for users, you can do it in such a way that a specific user cannot share with external person. Okay, if I go to this user and I go to OneDrive, okay, I go to OneDrive and then I have it's my storage. Where is it? I'm not seeing my option here. Where is it? Where is it? No, close. Okay. So our practical lab time has exhausted. So we have just 5 minutes. So, but that's just that about sharing. Then you have also other options like limit external sharing by domain. So I want to be able to share to maybe specific domain. I want people to be able to share to only Microsoft.com. Any other person, it won't allow them. Or um, um, let's say UBA.com. Okay. So these are the only people that, so even if they want to share and they type an email address, the domain has to end in either Microsoft.com or UBA.com. I don't want to save that. Okay. Then you also have the option to specify who can share with external users. So you want to only allow specific users to share with external users. Okay. You can use this option, or you need to just add the security group here. And only these users will have the option to share with external users. Okay. Only this. No, it's not this group. Okay, let's just use that group. I'm not saving. So any user that is added to that security group will have the option to share externally. Other users will not be able to do that. Okay, then this tells us it's allowed guests to share items that they own. Okay, so you have that option as well. Okay, then this is default link. So when you are sharing a file, what should be the default link that people can see? It says only people in your organization. That's because that's what this was set as. So if I save this now, that should change to anyone with a link. Then what is selected by default for users? So when you are sharing, the default selection is view, edit. So you have the options as well. Then you have the anyone with the link option. So that is sharing. Then you have access control. You have access control. You can set up OneDrive's access restriction. Okay, that's what I set up for this user. If you see this user, it says access denied. Your organization's policy prevents you from seeing OneDrive content. So this person cannot access OneDrive, but they can access SharePoint, but they can't access OneDrive. Why? Because of this policy. So OneDrive access restriction. Restrict OneDrive access to only users in specified security group. So I have a security group that I've created and I have some users I've added. That user is not in this group. And so she cannot access the what's it called? Cannot access OneDrive. But let me see if I'll add her. Maybe that will work as fast as it should. So let's start dropping questions because we are approaching the end. So I'll just go to security groups. I'll look for that group and just add the user. HPPC. Am I not an owner? Okay, no owner. Hey.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's start taking questions because of our time.
Yeah. So to start with, thank you so much, Yomi, for this wonderful presentation. Seriously, I enjoyed this class, not as a moderator now, but as a learner, like from the very beginning. At that point where we lost you, it was like, why here, right? You've done very, very well. I've learned a lot. Like I've learned a lot. And I want to believe everyone here has also uh learned a lot. If not, even if we have SPO experts here, you must have learned something new today. Thank you so much. So to the questions, we have someone is asking, I think one thing you can do for us is, since you're not the owner of that group, maybe you can quickly create a security group. Someone is asking, where are the security groups created? So we have different types of groups. We have Microsoft 365 groups, security groups. So right here where Yomi is, you'd see the add a security group. That's where you get to create security groups. Okay,
Yeah,
the
so
person has even
on
seen
your
that already.
admin portal, you go to active teams and group, and you have so I just added that user now. So you have teams, Microsoft 365, you have distribution list, and then you have security group. Security group is used for this kind of related issue where you want to allow only specific users. So let's check. I don't know how fast that will apply, but once that opens, that means the user has been okay. So it hasn't updated yet. So let's take the question. I hope it will update before we leave this. But that's just what this OneDrive access restriction does for you. Okay, then you have this network location. It's where you want to. This is not. I don't want to even go to say that because it's dangerous. So you want to block the access from specific IP address. And you know in Nigeria we have most of all use MTN, use Glo. If they decide to change their IP and it not tell you, you have been blocked from your tenants, from your SharePoint. Okay, because you specifically said only allow access from this IP address, and now the IP address have changed. You have to now find a way to contact Microsoft, the admin portal, for them to help you to resolve that. Okay, so you want to avoid that. Then this I do sign out. Maybe you want to, after a certain period, you want users to be signed out from the session. So you have that here. Okay, to configure. Then on my device, so if somebody that has Intune, they may want to set up this option. Okay, if I click on block now, even me, I won't be able to access my what's it called, my OneDrive and SharePoint, because this device is not managed by these tenants. Okay, so I don't want to do that. Then what else? Okay, then you have apps that don't use modern auth allow us. So you have third-party apps or application that does not like modern education. You want to block access to those apps, so you can use this as well. Then there are other options as well, like blocking download, but these are advanced features. Okay, these are advanced features. Okay, like you can see block download policy for SharePoint. So once you set up this policy, users will not be able to they won't be able to download from they won't be able to download basically. Okay, but if you sell this to customers, they don't want to hear it because it requires SharePoint advanced management, which is a license. Okay, they need to pay, okay, to achieve that. They don't want to do that. Okay, so let's go to settings quickly. Please, let's drop question. Okay, so you have version history limits. Okay, so you can limit across your tenants that version, maybe because of the difficulty you're always having with storage, can limit version history to 5. Okay, sorry, to 100. That's the limit, minimum. So, and you can say, okay, the limit is 100, but after 3 months, delete these versions. So even if it keeps 100 versions for you, after 3 months, it will delete all of them and then start again. So that way, you are helping to protect your organization's storage. Okay, because if you have 1,000 users and they have storage issues, it's very difficult for you to start going one after the other to access to help them out. Okay, so take note of that version history limit. Okay, you can set it so that specific users, your users in your your OneDrive and even SharePoint, the version history limit will be limited to a particular thing, or the version will be deleted after a particular period. Okay, so you can set it to never or limit it to 100, so it will automatically be deleting it after that period. But know that if you go and set this, maybe somebody do and set this and save, then after 3 months, it's now contacting Microsoft support that please, I mistakenly said this and the version history have been deleted. Or yo, it has gone. It's permanent deletion. Okay, there's no way to get it back. Okay, then we have what is called retention. Okay, so normally when you delete when you delete a user that has license, okay, the OneDrive is what is it called? Is retained for 30 days. So you can extend this. Okay, so you can see you can obtain throughout, but sometimes okay, so you can have to extend up to okay. Okay, so it means that after the user has been deleted, it's going to retain the user's OneDrive for this number of days. So you have that option as well. I said earlier that if somebody is using a file in their OneDrive and you decide to sack them and you delete their OneDrive, the implication is that the user will, those who have access to that file will no longer have access. So you can limit that by adjusting this. Okay, so that's one. Then secondly, if you go to classic settings page, I'll just open it on a new tab because I still want to come back here. So if we go to classic settings page, there's also a setting, okay? There's also a setting that allows you to set, where is it? I'm trying to hurry now. I'm in a hurry now, I can't find it. I can't find it, guys. Okay, so there's also a setting that allows you to set if a file is, if a user is deleted, the OneDrive link for that user is sent to their manager. Okay, it's sent to their manager. So there's a setting here that allows you to enable that. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Okay, but it's a setting that allows you to do that. So even if the user has been deleted, because you have chosen to retain the item for 300 days, the link has been forwarded to their manager. The manager can just click on that link and always they will have access directly to their OneDrive. Okay. Then we have storage limits. Okay, so my default is 5 GB. I can increase that to 512 because I have E5. Okay, so that means that if I save this, if you go to any user's account, you only see that option for their storage limited to just 1 terabyte. Okay, so if I click on OneDrive and I click on this manage default storage. Sorry, not here. This is not what I want to do. Yeah, click on edit. Okay, so you can see maximum storage for this user is okay. That's the maximum. Okay, so then lastly, sync. Okay, so sync, you can block uploaders. So this file has been blocked, so users cannot use their OneDrive sync, okay, to upload this type of file from the OneDrive sync. They can't, okay. Then you can try to disable options to sync, okay, so they won't be able to sync OneDrive to their PC. show the sync button on OneDrive side. If you uncheck it, they won't have that option. And this is for align syncing on computer that join to a specific domain. So if you have maybe domain controller, all of that, you have this, you can set this option so that users do not sync on their personal computers. Then lastly, you have options to limit users who can create. So if I uncheck this, users will not be able to create sites. Okay. And you can see when I created site earlier, it chose the default. This was where that information came from. Okay, setting the default time zone. Okay. And then you have pages. Okay, so you can also allow users to currently is currently allowed. If I uncheck this, users will not be able to create SharePoint page. Okay. So I think that's all for this session. Okay, that's all for this session. So question, we have 4 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Yomi. Which of the settings? Okay, someone is asking, Oyewale Saliu, let me start with you because your question is that you're unable to sign in. So you're saying you want to sign into Microsoft 365? You can unmute yourself because I don't get that. If you're signing in with your personal account, just to Microsoft 365, you should be able to sign in. And if you also want to sign in with the work or school account, you should be able to sign in. So what error message are you getting? You can unmute
Okay,
yourself.
good evening.
Yeah, good
Good evening. Can you
evening.
hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
I was trying to follow up, and in as much as this is my first time being
Okay.
introduced to this, so try to follow up with the lab. So I tried to copy the URL which he logged in as first with that
Okay.
chat slash Microsoft 365 Copilot. So it pop out a Microsoft dialog box, and which I key in my personal email. But then
Okay.
proceeding to the password, okay, before the password aspect. So the message I'm getting is you can't sign in here with a personal account. Use your work or
Correct.
school account instead.
Congratulations.
Yeah, very correct. So you can't actually sign in with your personal account. Okay, let me allow the trainer answer that question for even though it's not
You have
related to
answered it.
SQL.
You have answered it. You have answered it. It has
Okay.
to be a business
Or work
account.
or school account.
Yes.
So basically,
So,
this is how it is, right? When you're
okay.
signing up for M365, you're signing up for Microsoft 365 as an organization, right? So it's you're expected to have that we call it either a business account or a work or school account. Your personal account is just like your Gmail account. That one it's personal to you, right? But for M365, it's tenant wide, like it's for an organization. So it requires that you have that work or school account. You have your username and you have your password. So in this case, since it's your first time, we can create a test account for you where you sign into office.com. It requests for a username. This is specific, like to an organization. You can use your personal account. There are two different things. I don't know if it's clear. Your
Yeah, I'm
personal
getting it.
account is for your personal use, but for you to sign into this M365 and want to have access to admin portal, you want to follow along, you want to carry out the steps, right? You want to be able
Yeah.
to create a site, you want to do all of that, then you would have a work or school account. That's different. So we can create one for you. You join after this Q&A, I'm going to share a link to our community group, WhatsApp group, you can join in. All right. Yeah, join the community, reach out, and would create a test account for you that you can use for your own demo, uh, hands-on. Right
Okay. I'm already in the
after.
community. I joined the community. So I don't know,
Oh,
maybe it's something that I need to chat up with you on how to go about it.
okay. Then send me a DM then
Okay.
on
Okay.
WhatsApp.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. So, Yomi, the questions we have, I know that we have one of our leaders here, Oluwafemi. I want to be I'll do okay. He has been answering some of the questions. So the ones that he's yet to answer would be
Thank you, Oluwafemi. I'm
yeah,
grateful.
thank you so much for answering those questions. So someone
I've
had
made my
asked a
work easy.
question, how to add, is it how to add people? How do people add sites to apps like Teams? Okay. How do people add sites to apps like Teams? That's the last question here.
Okay, so on Teams, you have this option called add apps, and then you have option called website. So that's all you need to do, and then am I on the right page?
We can't see
So
your screen.
I'm sharing my entire screen now.
Okay. I thought you were showing him how to do that.
Yeah, I think it's lagging. It's
Mhm.
it's just a bit slow.
Okay, that's fine.
So, but can you see what I'm doing now?
Yes, we can see. We can see that. I'm sure the person who asked to see, you can see that clearly. We can.
Okay, so I think this I don't have a team here. Okay, I think this is a team, I suppose. If I click on this plus, add a tab. So all I need to look for is website. Okay. Then the URL will just be the SharePoint URL that you have. And that's all. Okay. Just share, and you of course you have to have access to that SharePoint site. Okay. So that's just what you need to do. So I'm adding the SharePoint URL now and save. So if I click on deep dive now, it should open. I don't go configure. Like, why is it verifying the link? Why is this one is hey. Ah, what is the username again? So, but basically, that is just what you need to do. It will sign you in, and then the site will display. I hope I've not configured something that is blocking this anyway. Okay, so no, this is not opening. This is not opening. I've done something about it. This is the step. So you click on it, it will open here. But I don't know why it's not opening here. Which team am I?
You know that you're
Oh,
signed in with the Nigerian M365
oh,
account.
okay.
That's why you're not, yes. So it's
Oh,
different from your own account.
oh, okay.
That's why.
Yeah, that's it. I
Okay.
understand now. Oh,
So
okay.
Yomi, one thing you can do for us is, can you please share your LinkedIn profile handle in the chat, please? Because we still have
Okay.
some questions that will require you to explain in detail, right? For someone like Olusoji, who is asking about sharing settings, sharing permissions. So you can reach out to Yomi one-on-one. Yomi would just copy the link for us and drop in the chat. Yomi would answer your question in detail. Everything you need to know, just ask Yomi. So connect with
Okay,
him on
so
LinkedIn.
yeah, so have the link and just use that to reach out.
Mm-hmm. So I've also dropped the WhatsApp community group link, WhatsApp link. You can click the link to join our group, our WhatsApp group. Then if you have any question, you can drop your question in the WhatsApp group. We have quite a number of leaders there that would be answer your questions. Aside from that, we have a YouTube channel with loads of recordings, previous sessions that we've had, just in case you're new to Microsoft 365 and you want to get started, right? You can check our
Okay.
YouTube channel. Yomi,
Yeah. So
don't
I don't know if there are any other questions. Am I free to leave?
to leave. Okay,
I need to
uh,
jump on
on
now.
something else. It's fine.
They're waiting for
Of
me like this.
Thank you so much. I know you're supposed to be in an
I told them
event.
6 o'clock.
It's past 6
We'll round
already.
up.
That's fine. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time and we look forward to having you subsequent sessions.
You're welcome. So don't forget to stop the recording.
That's true. Sure. Thanks for the reminder.
Okay. Bye everyone. Thanks for your time. And